This is the future liberals want.
Yeah, exactly. The woke left wants that to be the world.
Yeah, they want to eradicate men and have jacked up women painters.
Let's go.
So before we get into the episode today, I want to thank the sponsor of today's episode, Dinnerly. Dinnerly is a weekly meal subscription plan that makes dinner time easy and affordable. And the process is really simple. You just select the meals you want, they send you the pre-packaged and pre-measured ingredients, and you just follow along with their easy-to-read recipe cards. They have over 100 different recipes to choose from each week, and the best part is that it actually is just the recipes. Because unlike a lot of other recipes that you might find that have really long-winded backstories and paragraphs, Dinnerly just provides you with easy-to-read, concise instructions with pictures. A few of the dishes that we had this week were Tex-Mex chicken chili, veggie egg and cheese breakfast buns, and berry donut muffins. All of the dishes that they sent us were amazing and were more than enough for 2 people. And because everything was pre-packaged and measured, there wasn't any food waste either. It's easier than meal prepping, cheaper than eating out, and more convenient than going to the grocery store. And we all hate going to the grocery store. But if you're not satisfied, you can also cancel at any time with no penalties. And right now we have a special discount code for my audience. By using the link in the description or using my coupon code Maddy25, you can take up to $150 off your first 5 boxes with Dinnerly, and free shipping on your first box. So make dinner time easy, delicious, and affordable with Dinnerly. And now, onto the video. Hi guys, welcome back to Give It To Me Straight, a talk show for alphas. I'm your host and high-value male, Maddy Morphosis, and joining me on the show today is TikTok star, podcaster, author, and man-hating liberal feminist, Drew Afualo.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not matching your energy, but countering your energy today, because as we know, your biggest antithesis is the cisgendered straight white man with a podcast.
Exactly.
So
my biggest ops.
Yeah.
We're giving a real yin and yang situation right now.
I know, like, there's a lot of faceless comments in like your TikTok and stuff. Like, this is what they look like on the other side.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And then they call me fat and ugly. Ooh.
Well, to be fair, it's all women are. So it's not just you. It's not just you. Don't take offense to it.
Other than holes, they're also fat and ugly.
That's true. Yeah. So
hard to read.
A little bit, I think. I didn't pick the best outfit for this. Look at their sunglasses. I'm too committed to the bit. They'll come off a little later, but we gotta we have to have our establishing shots at our thumbnails though. So
yeah, you need the bit in the beginning.
Drag is not for the faint of heart. It's a commitment. It's dedication.
We were just saying you're serving high camp.
The highest of camps. I don't do anything 5%.
You're looking camp right in the eye.
Look
camp right in the eye.
Looking it right in the eye. It's like, we'll zoom in this shot. Looking it right in the eye. And I don't break eye contact. Andrew Tate taught me that. But yeah, I know you do have, like you said, your biggest op is the cisgender straight white man. So I appreciate you making the exception and coming on my show today.
Oh my gosh, of course.
Yeah.
Anything for you.
But there's one thing people do know about you is that you are not averse to conflict, though. So
no, never. No. I never back down from a challenge.
When's the last time you backed down from a fight? Can you remember?
From a fight?
Yeah. A scrap? A scuffle?
I can't. I don't have that in me.
No.
Like the ability to back. If I commit, I commit.
You don't ever show your belly to nobody?
No, not normally. No.
What about Mama Afualo?
Well, yeah, obviously my mom. That's different. My mom. That's different. I'm very like chimpanzees. Like in Planet of the Apes. I'm like submission has to.
Your family. You and your family roll deep though. Like,
we do.
Because whenever I filmed your podcast with you, there was so many Afualos in the room. You're like, oh yeah, I was like, I walked in the room and I was like, oh, this must be like all the production staff, big production. And then every person had the same last name.
Right.
And you're like, oh, this is my mom, my brother, my sister, my third cousin twice removed. And I was like, oh, y'all out here.
Right. I got to I have a big splash impression in the beginning. I'm like, here's 72 of my family members. Thoughts? Yeah. Questions? Okay, cool. We can move on.
If I could ask, like, possibly an ignorant question, is that just like a your family thing, or is it like a Samoan like family values thing?
That's not an ignorant question. I think it's I would say both, but it is a cultural thing. Like we do just like typically, honestly, my family for Samoan families is actually pretty small. With only 3 children. Like some of my extended family members still ask my mom, like, when are you gonna have more kids? My mom's like, never. I have 2 kids in their 30s. What are you talking about? So I think I prefer to roll deep. That's why I said it's kind of a twofer. Like we are very family oriented, do like to take family everywhere. But like for me personally, I just like always want my family there. So I think it's kind of a 2.
Yeah.
double dip situation.
I'm the opposite. I bring my family, they're going to say some dumb shit in front of a guest, and some ignorant stuff.
Right. Well, I mean, that is a risk you run.
But also, like, my family, too, it's like, my grandma is, like, one of my biggest supporters.
Oh, love.
Yeah, but also, like, she doesn't support all the stuff. Like, she's like, because I had a guest on that was just talking about eating ass most of the episode.
Right.
And she was like, oh, I liked your outfit.
She's not a fan?
But she's like, I didn't like that one girl. She kept talking about eating. I don't even want to talk about it.
She doesn't, not a fan? Has she tried it?
I think she's like, maybe she did, and that's why she's like so averse to it. She's like, I don't want to talk about this.
Maybe someone didn't want to eat hers, and she was like, well, then fuck all you.
But she was also born in the 50s, so ass was different back then.
Oh, they were eating ass in 50s? You don't
Yeah,
think?
they were, but like, you can't be shaving it with a straight razor. It was a different animal they were dealing with back then.
That's true.
Hygiene was different.
Yeah, you're looking at a Brillo pad situation, probably.
Yeah, very much that. And like the soap was different. You had to use lye. It's like a disaster.
Lye, imagine. You get lead poisoning from eating ass. That'd be crazy.
That's how my first grandpa passed away. Yeah, mouth cancer.
Eating ass. Man, what a way to go.
Yeah.
You went out on top, though.
Back when men were men.
Let's bring back real men.
Yeah.
Who eat ass.
Yeah.
You want to prove you're a man? Eat some ass.
Yeah.
Then we'll talk about it.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, exactly.
But we digress.
Anyways, what were we talking about? Family.
Family.
Yeah.
No, I had to explain to my dad what meant the other day. And
Damn.
it's
And how was that?
He's trying.
Yeah.
It's because it's different because like I've been submersed in like the lifestyle for a while, whereas like him, he didn't find out about any of the drag stuff until I was on national television. So it's like I didn't just ease him in, like I had to slap him across the face.
Yeah,
and are now like trying to explain things slowly but surely.
Sometimes that's probably the better way to do it. Mm-hmm. Just cold plunge, right?
Yeah.
And just be like, let's start from the end, work our way back.
Yeah.
That's probably smart sometimes.
The older generation doesn't have the same like internet brain rot that we do.
Right.
They got like
that's so
they
true.
got Fox News brain rot, but that's a different kind.
Kind. That's a more sinister, evil kind.
It is.
The other kind is just like the only person harmed is me, really.
Yeah.
With my brain rotting.
Ours is like surface level rot, really, because it sets in a little bit, and then we like wipe it clean, and we start with a new brain rot. But for them, like that seeps in, like it's in there.
Have you seen this joke? I was just explaining this joke to my fiance this morning of like, I've eaten these nachos before. Have you seen that on TikTok?
Oh, yeah.
They're like, these nachos taste familiar. These were reheated nachos. Like, they're saying that about Lady Gaga with her new song. Like, they're saying, these are her nachos. They are reheated, but they're still good.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like someone was saying that. It's like, I'm not saying this, but someone else said it.
Yeah.
Someone said, Tate McRae is just reheating Nelly Furtado's nachos, but it's still good.
Right. They're like, they're a little stale, but they're still good. I've seen that too.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was explaining that I've tasted these nachos before. That's like the most like purest form of brain rot on TikTok, I feel like, is a joke like that.
Yeah.
Nobody would understand that fucking joke outside of gays and girls on TikTok. Speaking of Lady Gaga, do you like the new song?
Yeah.
I'm fucking so happy with it.
Like, and the choreo, like, we're so back.
Oh, with Periscope, love her.
Yeah.
I'm eating it up. 2009 Gaga is so back.
Yeah, it's like one of the few reliefs we have in this day and age.
Literally, I saw a comment that said, I knew things were going to be okay when Lady Gaga started acting weird again.
No, I think...
Me too.
I don't know if things are going to be okay. I think Lady Gaga is the violinist on the Titanic as it's sinking.
Right.
It's like what little relief we have.
It's like, well, if we're going down, at least to a nice soundtrack.
Yeah.
That's T.
There it is. There's the plug for the album. That's the tagline. A soundtrack for the world ending.
That should be your next music video. Oh. Titanic sinking, playing the violins.
See, a lot of people think that you're just, this loud person on the internet, but like, you got brains somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there.
I'm saying, maybe it doesn't have that many wrinkles because you're still a woman, but like, there's a couple.
You're right, but if I shake my head, you hear a little rattle.
Yeah.
A little shimmy.
But talking about like your online presence though, I think a lot of people assume that you just recently started yelling on TikTok for clicks and stuff like that. But what like a lot of people don't know is that like you've always been emotional. You've always been over the top.
I don't even know where that's my mom's picture. That is my mom's picture. I don't know where the who posted that.
Yeah, you've always been very
and see, this is why
with your emotions.
This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is why women can't lead. See this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hormones.
That's actually a picture of Kamala Harris.
This is literally a picture of AOC. Yeah. Can you see it? This is why they shouldn't be in seats.
That was her yesterday. Complaining about...
I took this of her yesterday.
Yeah, complaining about, I don't know, housing crisis or something.
Equal rights. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Get a load of this. Crying. Get into that. That is, honestly, can I say, though? My hair is serving. One thing about me, I'm wigged to my core. I came out like literally looking like Caesar from Planet of the Apes. I came out with a full wig. I came out fully wigged.
Oh, like you're a hairy baby.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I'm saying full head. I got more hair on my head in this picture than you do on your head right now. Can you believe that?
Well, it's because I have high testosterone.
Yeah, you're
I got
right.
high T. High hairline, higher T.
Yeah.
Clock that T.
Right, and clock that T. How's that?
Clock that
I'll put her next to
testosterone.
Caleb.
Yeah. Yeah, I got him up here. I had to Photoshop the sunglasses onto him. But I wanted to get a picture of like another alpha male. Because
Right.
like I don't know too much about Caleb, but one thing I do know is that like I've never once got a vibe from him that he's out here trying to entertain women. So I just know like he's
that
got
is true.
full energy, opinianated. I just know he's
Eating ass.
swimming in women. He's getting
Right.
all the ladies.
Sure, he's swimming in something, that's for sure. Something evil.
Something evil,
Yeah.
something vile, something disgusting.
Something terrible.
And that's what alpha males do. We take the road less traveled.
Right.
We jump in the pond with still water.
I bet you do. Tie some rocks to your legs and do it again.
I got a little deep there. Push the sunglasses up on that one.
If you clip that, I'm gonna be pissed. Whoever watches this. If you clip that, I'm gonna be mad. It's a joke. Anyways.
No, but so like I'm assuming like was this like the first time a man was rude to you in your life? Is that like what the emotion here?
Honestly, I don't think so. And I feel like that was born out of hunger, maybe?
Hunger.
Right.
Hunger for life.
The money.
Hunger for money.
Yeah. You know?
Women.
FBGM. Get money.
So I'm getting that tattooed next week.
Yeah.
Across from the loyalty tattoo on the other one.
Across the collarbone.
Yeah. Like, what were you like as a kid? Like, were you like really like loud and boisterous child, or did that come in like the TikTok age? Like, when did you?
No, I was a very loud child from the jump. I was like a very opinionated and bossy. I attributed that to my Virgo. I think I was just an asshole, which clearly has panned out and worked out pretty well for me monetarily. But yeah, I think I was a very outgoing child. I was very like a self-assured child.
Self-assured.
Which I'm sure is like shocking to hear.
I think you said once. Can we get the quote here? Yeah, you described your child self as strong-willed, bossy, and a know-it-all.
Amen.
But you also have said somewhere that you do daily affirmations every day.
Right.
Are your daily affirmations that you're strong-willed, bossy, and a know-it-all?
I think my daily affirmations include me acknowledging that, doing nothing to fix it, and then moving on to how awesome I am. That's typically how my affirmations work.
I identify the problem and perpetuate it.
Right. I identify the problem, ignore it, and then focus on all the things that make me awesome.
Are you sure you're not a man? I'm getting
Right?
I'm getting
No.
alpha vibes. No lie. No,
Really?
shade.
No, you know I'm not a man because me diagnosing things wrong with me, yeah, they skip right over that part. So, like, you know I'm not a man at that point.
Yeah, but you just mansplained it to me, so I don't know. Like, getting mixed signals.
I mean, but I am but a mere woman, though. So did you retain any of the information? Most likely not.
Maybe you got it from your dad. Your dad was a man.
That's true.
You're half man. So
Yeah, I am half man. Yeah, you're right.
That's how that works. Biology. But like growing up, you were really involved in like sports and stuff like that. Like
Yes.
you actually almost had a scholarship for soccer, but
Yes.
you went instead to be like a journalist.
Right.
Like
right.
sports journalism.
Yeah.
Was that like a pick-me thing to get more involved in sports? Like what was that?
Honestly, looking back, I was horrified that maybe that was the case. Thankfully, no. Phew! Dodged a bullet on that one. No, I played sports because I'm someone, so like that's typically what we do. Like we're just like built for athleticism, and that's not me gassing myself. It's just the truth. So I played. If I was gonna be like a super pick me, I don't think I would have picked soccer. I think I would have picked a different sport, like one that made me look cuter.
Well,
I didn't really look that cute when I played, so you know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you pivoted from soccer, like very like rah women's rights kind of sport, you know? And you pivoted more towards being like journalism for like football and stuff like that.
Right. Well, you know.
Trying to make sense of all this.
You're right.
I'm just pulling the thread and seeing where the sweater unravels.
Fair question to ask.
Yeah. What made you like interested though, where you're like, I want to like broadcast sports? Like,
well, part of it was because I wanted to be like a correspondent. Like I wanted to do on-air talent. I wanted to be on-air talent. So I started in journalism so I could like learn how to be a reporter first, and then when I was late in college, I learned how to like film and edit and stand in front of the camera and talk and all of that. So I think that was my main draw to broadcast. Like I just wanted to be on camera reporting. And I also wanted to be able to be another woman in the space because there were so few when I was in college too. Like even now there's way more than there was when I was in college, but that's not really saying much considering how many men are there. So honestly, I think if I really thought about it, I was just trying to gentrify a space. I was trying to take over. You know what I mean? I was trying to move in, move all the locals out, raise the rent. You know what I mean? Just be a complete dick. Start redlining, all of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
that was my goal.
I think it's just reparations for you, though.
Absolutely.
It's just, you're just getting back what you're owed.
Yeah, I'm like, well, you guys take everything and ruin it, so I'm going to go inside something you love and I'm going to ruin it. So.
And did.
And got fired.
You did get fired.
That. I did.
You did get fired. Was it a man that fired you?
No.
Was that your villain origin story?
No, shockingly,
was this the day you got fired? Was this the day she got fired?
Ooh, can I tell you something funny about this? First of all, this is me as Bane in college. Up beyond belief in this picture, by the way. I barely remember taking this photo. My friends and I were Batman villains. And I had two friends who refused to change out of, like, they both wanted to be Harley Quinn. So we had two Harley Quinns. I was Bane. One of my other friends was the Riddler. And she kept calling herself the Question Man. And I was like, that's all right. Whatever. Who cares? But this mask was $120 on Amazon. And I overnight shipped it, spent all my money just because I was like, well, I can't not have the mask. That's like my whole outfit. So I did this. It was a big hit. Sweat all night, but it was a big hit. But I got so up that I was missing a lash. You can't really tell in this picture, but I lost a lash, had no clue all night. And when I say lash, it was like one of those 3D mink ones. Like it was huge. Not a lily lash because I wasn't balling like that at the time. But literally no lash in all my pictures. I posted all of them too, by the way. Posted them on the grid, everything. I was like, I look so good, period. And then when I was looking at them in the morning, I said, and none of you just told me I was missing a lash all night. Nice. Had fun though.
Said no one cared to us, so I put on the lash.
Literally. I wish I could have killed someone like Bane in this. That would have been cool.
See, other people merely adopted misogyny, but you were born into it, molded by it.
I was born in it. Right.
Your dad actually played very briefly in the NFL, or did like the training development. It was for the Cardinals, very temporarily. What was that like? Like your dad in his like late 20s, which is like a late age to go in the NFL.
No, totally.
And he's all of a sudden, Dad's going to play for the National Football League.
Right. At the time, I don't think we knew. Like I had no conception at all of like what he was doing. I just knew he was like leaving, and that sucked. But honestly, we watched him on the TV a few times. I do remember that. But it just, to me, sucked ass because he just wasn't home. So I was like, what do you mean he has to fucking leave for weeks? I don't understand. Like, I just know concept of, like, him having to travel for work and be gone. So, I mean, that was cool, but I think I hated it because he was just never home, which was fucking awful. And it didn't last very long, thankfully, so we got to come home. Love you.
It's the ones closest to you that are rooting for your downfall. That's why you got fired from the NFL. He was rooting against you. That's karma.
When I got fired from the NFL years later, I called my dad. My dad was like the first person I talked to after I got fired, and he was like, first of all, congratulated me because he knew how much I hated that job. But then he was like, man, they really don't want either of us in there, do they?
For those that don't know, like, what did you do for the NFL?
I was a social media person for them. So I was running an account, and my job was to grow the account essentially. And they hate when I say this, but I don't give a. One of the reasons they let me go was because they said I couldn't grow the following. Like, I didn't know how to do it. Turns out I do, but you know, what do I know?
So like, were you just like making like TikToks and social media? Like,
no, they
Twitter
actually,
posts,
and they honestly, TikTok wasn't a thing at the time. It was brand new, and so it had just started kind of like picking up steam. And I remember suggesting that we make a TikTok. They said no, because they thought it was going to be like Vine. Like at the time, like the person I worked for just didn't think it was worth it. You're right, not for you guys, but it was for me.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it worked out for me quite well, I'd say. But yeah, I just made content for them, essentially. But it's ironic because the account I was running at the time, my job was to target women. Like, my job was to build a female demographic because at the time, the viewership for any sort of NFL programming was about 60% women. But the engagement on social was like 20% 20% women. And obviously women drive consumerism in a lot of ways. Women deem what's popular. So like they were trying to target women because women spend money. Like women will follow you, women will buy your shit, women will come to your games. Like women will do that stuff if they feel like it's worth it. And so that's what the goal was. And that's what, like, it's just so ironic because my goal, like they wanted me to reach women.
Yeah.
And boy, did I.
But you know, in another universe where you stayed on, you would have brought in so many women and then pushed out all the men. And we'd be having a WNFL right now. Poppin'. Caitlin Clark would have shoulder pads on
a small price to pay, I'd say.
Yeah.
For me to raise the army instead.
Yeah. Instead of like bringing a couple viewers, she enlisted a draft.
Right. Or I did conscription.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like it definitely like laid the groundwork because like you're doing social media, you're getting all this presence and like hitting the ground, getting started on TikTok or like tiptoeing around it. Whenever you really started to go viral, was it just like one certain video that took off or was it like this snowball?
It was kind of there was one video. Well, the first video I ever posted that like did numbers to some extent, was a video I posted about my fiance who got me like a year's worth of nail appointments as a gift for Valentine's Day. So he found me like my still nail tech to this day. I still go to her now. He found her, like researched her, booked her, like brought cash and like paid for everything including tip, like 2 new sets a month for like 6 months up front, and then he did 6 more months later. And then he brought like pictures of my nails and everything and was like showing her like this is the kind of style she likes. Like she's trying to do designs but she can't always get the ones she wants. So I made a video about that, like basically saying like what an unbelievable gift and how pissed off I was that I was so in love. And then that's the first video that kind of did numbers. And then probably like 6 to 8 months later, I made another video that was very specific red flags in men. And so I just made a whole list. And that was my first video to go like super viral, which got me a whole bunch of hate, which started me being mean. And then that's kind of where it started snowballing. Like I would pump out like 10, 12 videos a day. Because I had no following. Like, I was just like, I would pick comments, and I would go to those dudes' profiles, and I would look at what they look like, and then I would put them, and I was a lot meaner back then because I had no ties on me.
You softened.
Yeah, I didn't have that blue check, so I could just go nuts, right? And when I started doing that, that's what really started, like, getting me a lot of attention, and then people who started following me and, like, thought I was funny, they started tagging me in other videos of men being awful. And that's what started them, like, now I feel like I compare it like they just dropped them at my altar. They put them at my altar and they're like, for you, whenever you're ready, my queen.
An offering.
And then I slither up from hell and I feast on it. So like, now that's what we do.
Sacrifice.
But, right, exactly. A willing and able sacrifice. Yeah, absolutely.
We'd love to see it. We're here for it.
Right, you're right.
So, like, whenever you, like, posting stuff online, though, and things starts to take off, like, where were you at in life? Like, what were you doing, like, for work? Because, like, you got fired from the NFL. Like, what were you doing?
Nothing. Like, nothing, because COVID happened. So everybody was at home. And I was literally unemployed, and I was at home. Like, I just had nothing but time.
This is man-hating gremlin.
Right, I had nothing but time. So when I got nothing but time, you should be afraid. Like, if I'm bored and angry, yeah, you got a problem on your hands. So... I honestly had nothing going on, and then I was helping my parents out because my parents own their own business, so I was kind of helping them, but for the most part, I was just at home doing nothing. Yeah. So, you know.
Whenever you first started posting this content of, like, you know, calling out misogynists and all these, like, homophobic racism,
right.
Did you see something growing in that moment, or was it just kind of like a flash in the pan at that time? Like, did you feel like there was, like, something here of, like, content that people were really gravitating towards?
I think when I realized that was when, I started getting a lot of comments about how, like, my ability to laugh at people saying awful things to me was completely shifting their perspective on, like, hate and how it made them feel. I remember I made one video really early on where someone had called me fat, which is, like, boring, and I had already, like, shot that shit down, but someone had wrote a comment about, like, I don't know why people say that you're fat. You're absolutely not fat. You should tell them that. And I made a video in response to that comment, and I said, I don't think fat is a bad thing. Like, the word fat itself has sociologically been conditioned for us to believe it's an extremely negative, awful thing. Fat is nothing more than an adjective. It's just like fast, it's just like slow, it's just like tall. Like they're just adjectives. They don't mean anything. And more importantly, they don't determine whether or not you deserve respect from a fucking stranger. So I said, I don't get those comments and then body check. Like, I just don't film myself, look at me, I'm not fat, because that doesn't matter to me or that person. They're just trying to hurt me.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, because I don't take any stock or value in the way my body looks or how it's perceived by a man who's far lesser than me. Girl, I don't give a fuck what you think about the weather, let alone me. Like, I don't fucking care about your comments about anything. Like, why would I? So I think when I made videos like that, the response to that is what made me like start to understand and realize that it was far deeper than that to people who were finding me and stumbling upon me, which I kind of figured. I mean, but that's just how I've always moved. So that's why it felt like common sense to me. But it's really not. Like, my mindset is not nearly as common as I think I thought it was, which is not a bad thing. I'm happy that I've been able to kind of give that gift to other people, which I think is beneficial to us all, honestly.
But with your content now, like, you kind of relish in the negativity, help feeds a lot of, like, the content and the discussion. But was there a time where it ever did get to you, especially, like, in the early stages of the internet hate?
I think in the beginning, it didn't, it never affected me in a way that, like, made me feel any type of way about myself. I think where it started to affect me and I had to, like, kind of pay attention to was when it started, like, consuming my every waking thought. Like, I felt like I had to make a video, like, when I was posting 10 or 12 a day, like, I mean that very literally. I was, like, constantly looking for mean shit so I could make more shit because I just felt like I needed to. Like, I was like, I'm gonna respond to this, I'm gonna respond to this. And then, obviously, that over time is gonna start to, like, weigh on you and start to, like, it's gonna start to take your mind off anything else. I'm just gonna keep zeroing in on this negativity, which will affect anybody mentally.
It's just, if you go looking for it, you're almost, like, perpetuating it.
Exactly, and then you're kind of eternally in this, like, fight state, which is not beneficial to anyone. Like, it's not beneficial to me or anyone who spends time with me. So, like, that's when I think I started to be like, okay, I need to chill. Like, I don't need to respond to every single negative thing, especially if it's the same shit over and over again. Because one thing about a man on TikTok is, like, he is not creative in any way, shape, or form. So, like, it's the same insult over and over. I don't need to respond to every single one. So I think that's the only thing that really bothered me in the beginning was just how much it was controlling my, like, I just, like, can't not respond. So I had to really kind of work on that, which thankfully I'm really good at it now, but it was a little tough in the beginning.
I'm in the same boat as you where, like, a lot of the negativity doesn't get to me as long as it's, like, creative. Because, again, like, generic insults, heard them before, but when someone says a creative insult, it just... Yeah. Even I can relish in that. I can appreciate that.
Me too, because I respect the craft till I die. Yeah. So, like, if you get me, you got me. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's where I'm kind of like, hey, you know what? That was a good one.
Yeah. Like, for me, like, whenever I got on Drag Race... you know, me being, like, straight and being a drag queen, people saying that, like, I was gonna kill a Nickelback lip sync or something, like, that's a good read. That's funny. That's funny.
He's gonna eat Creed up. He's gonna eat that shit up. You're so, like, oh, okay.
And, like, you've talked before in interviews that, like, someone compared you to, like, the Pot of Greed card from Yu-Gi-Oh! And that was, like, that tickled you so much. What are some of the other, like, creative insults where you're like, I can't even hate it, like, that you've received?
Damn. I know. I always use the Pot of Greed one, which, can I say, that one has gone so viral when I've talked about it in interviews before that now men who hate me on TikTok, they'll be like, they'll say things like, I heard a dude called her Pot of Greed once, and I can't unsee it. I said, first of all, that was a Barb Stan account on Twitter. If you think that was a straight man, you're out of your mind. Second of all, that's my joke. Like, nobody would have ever found that out if I didn't say it. Oh, men can't do anything without me. They have to use me for everything.
You're ghostwriting your own hate comments.
I'm like, oh, anything else while I'm up? Do you guys need anything else while I'm up? I think one time a kid last year told me, go to the gym, chunko. I thought it was kind of funny. I said, you know what? Chunko. I've never heard that one.
Something about putting the O at the end of chunk. it makes it a little more booba, you know what I mean?
Right, like, exactly. Yeah. It's like, it's almost like inherently silly, which, hey, it got a giggle out of me, all right? I giggled a little when I saw that one. I'm trying to think if anyone's ever, like, honestly, the only people who really read me are, like, people who love me, which is, like, I'm sure you know, like, the fans are sometimes the meanest people. unintentionally.
Yeah.
Like they don't do it on purpose. Like I got one like a couple months ago that hit me so hard I had to lock my phone for a bit. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna take a break from that for a second. Someone made a video about me and it was all in love. Like she loves me. I know this. But she was like, you know, I've always like hated my teeth. I've always thought like my teeth were so awful and terrible. And then when I see Drew smiling with her teeth and laughing with her mouth open, it makes me want to try. I thought, right. And what if I told you this made me put a between my up teeth? Then what? Hey, then what? Yeah, no, men, I don't think I've ever had one from like a man who truly hates me that like really hit me. Because a lot of times too, I feel like they try to copy me like in the way that I hit them. So like
they try to like match the energy.
Right. Like I say something, like they say something up, I rip them to shreds, and then I compare them to something, or I say they look like some, and then they try to mirror it exactly, and I'm like, I've tasted these nachos before, and they're stale.
It's just like, again, like with a genericness to it too.
Right,
you know, it's just
and
like
I'm sure you know.
Fat, ugly.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, okay,
or an outright slur. It's like never anything creative. It's just bigotry and.
That's a weird
boring.
line that like, I walk as like a straight person that does like drag, where it's like I still get hit with the slur. I'm just like, I'm catching strays out here. I'm getting getting contact. Yeah. No, but like again, like the hardest ones that hit though are the ones from the actual fans, where like they talk about how like, oh, I just love Maddy's face. It's so like soft and round. It's perfect for makeup. I'm like, hey, you know, like
a fan? Okay.
Yeah, no, I literally get like the exact same like negative comments that Trixie probably does, but without the money. So it's like, okay,
without the exposure.
Kicking down, punching down.
You're punching down.
Yeah, straight people don't always have it easier, you know. Trixie.
Right, straight privilege. Where?
Yeah. Okay, where's my motel? Whatever.
Right, for real.
Real estate mogul. Look at me. I'm literally in. This is Joanne fabric. We got this with a coupon. Have to work for everything I get.
Right. And not her shit.
No. She just siphons off other people's clout.
Exactly.
Couldn't be me. Or now work from our sponsor. Have you ever woken up with a funky symptom like a swollen itchy eye, funky looking rash, tight pain in your neck, or persistent cold that won't go away, and immediately Googled it and searched TikTok to see what's wrong? We've all gone down that rabbit hole. But it's time to get the help and care you really need with ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about booking in-network appointments with more than 100,000 doctors across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, primary care to urgent care, and much more. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, are located nearby, are a good fit for any medical need you may have, and are highly rated by verified patients. Once you find the right doctor, you can see their actual appointment openings, choose a time slot that works for you, and click to instantly book a visit. Appointments made through ZocDoc also happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments. This is a really good service for me personally because growing up, my family never went to the doctor for anything, and so whenever I became an adult, I didn't 100% know how the process worked. But now, just using the app, I can make a couple clicks and find any doctor for any need, no matter where I am. Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/straight to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/straight. ZocDoc.com/straight. I do think that we both exist around a very interesting like world of like misogyny related, in that you obviously as a woman are a victim of it, and me as, you know, a straight white man would be assumed to be a perpetrator of it.
Right.
But like I think that whenever I started doing drag is like I actually got to experience some, not the full extent obviously. Like, I don't know what it's like to grow up as a woman, you know, to be a she, her in the wild.
Right.
It's so strange to me because it's by doing like drag that I started to learn how much like these men are behaving in like this way, like
the way they act in the wild.
Misogyny, transphobia, racism, even like a lot of it is like performing for other men, which is so like counterintuitive.
Yeah, it's real to me. Like, I don't know how to describe it really in a way that like would make sense. I think it's like, it's so hat on a hat to me for men to be awful in groups, because it's like, well, yeah, because you feel bolder in groups, right? But also, too, I think your experience in experiencing that is obviously one that is shared by the queer community just in general, like the LGBTQIA plus community. It's something that I think no one really understands until you experience it. Like, until you actually feel it. When you go out in the wild, it's like, even my fiance, like, sometimes he's told me, like, there have been moments where he's been like, oh my God, like, I can't believe women have to exist in certain spaces alone, or women have to be constantly aware of things all the time. It's like a simple example is, like, every time I get in my car, whether I'm alone or not, the first thing I do is lock the door. And, like, my man could get out of the car and leave it unlocked, and he just won't remember. And it's like those things don't register to him because he doesn't have to live in fear like that. Yeah. And women are just conditioned to be fearful all the time, just in case, because you never know. And most likely, the one time you don't do it, something bad happens, which is just a constant state of, like, anxiety and fear and awfulness that you have to learn to deal with alongside, like, experiencing joy, going to work, like, doing things that normal people do, which is terrible. But I think that's another reason why people like you are so impactful, not just in the drag community, but also just in general existing online and explicitly stating that, like, this is something I love to do, and I'm having these experiences that are growing my perspective and like making me more aware of, like, how other marginalized groups experience life, which I think is the solution to ignorance as a whole, is empathy and understanding. Like, they don't need
or in my case, exposure.
Girl, exactly, right? And you're doing extreme exposure. Like, and that's why I'm saying, like, you don't have to get in drag to understand if you just want to try. You're doing both. Like, you're understanding on a superficial level and also experiencing it, which is, I'm sure, crazy and cuckoo.
I think a lot of people, like, they become better allies and learn a little bit by, like, you know, resetting, asking questions. Right. I went full Bear Grylls. I was like, give me a wig. I'm going in. Let me find out what's happening.
Guerrilla warfare. I'm blending in.
but whenever I, like, went on Drag Race, like, that's what, like, the message I hoped they were going to tell, which, I mean, a little bit maybe, but, like, they definitely told the story of, like, oh, anyone can do drag, which is, like,
right.
I guess.
Which is, I guess, part of it, right?
But, like, the thing I really wanted to convey was, like, oh, look at me, like, I'm a straight guy, I'm wearing a dress, I'm doing all this, and, like, it's not affecting my life. Like, I'm literally, like, I'm not just being slightly feminine, I'm literally dressing a full femininity, experiencing it, portraying it, and, like, I still have a partner at home. I have a normal life. People don't care. Like, this toxic...
You're expressing yourself.
Yeah, this toxic masculinity stuff, like, it doesn't matter.
It's such a prison,
It is a prison.
Like, when you see men who are, like, in the absolute trenches of toxic masculinity... What a bore. What a colorless, boring ass life. Like, a perfect example is, like, my dad was wearing a Yankees hat. And get this, because he just liked the color. But he doesn't give a about the Yankees. But because my dad's, like, a big dude, like, anytime when you see my man or my dad and they're, like, big dudes and a toxic masculinity man, moth to a flame. They're like, oh my God, I need to talk to you about sports. Even though neither of them give a shit about sports anymore, really. Like, they watch them-ish, but, like, you know, that's not their entire personality, so they care about other things. And so this old man, like, truly was just so, like, oh my God, you like the Yankees? Like, just harassing the out of my dad. Talks to him about it on the plane. We land. When we get to the luggage carousel, he finds my dad again, talks to Zero for 45 minutes. And then when we get in the car to go home, I'm like, what the was that geezer talking to you about? Because he was like 100 years old. And my dad goes, it was literally only about sports. He talked to me about baseball for, like, the first half. Worked in a dig about trans people. How?
It's a must tick box in every conversation.
They're like, they have to do it. Like, how the that came up in a conversation about the Yankees? I don't know. And so then after that weird bullshit, the rest of it was just him citing off all of his, like, knowledge about football and, like, his favorite team, and they have season tickets, and I was at this game in 1962 or whatever, because he's 100. My dad's telling me all this shit, and then after he finishes, I go, oh my God, can you imagine your whole personality is comprised of nothing more than the accomplishments of men far greater than you? Torture. That's how that feels to me. Like I cannot imagine.
Same people that are obsessed with like World War II.
That's my reason. Oh God, dude, and they're a big fan of Reagan. Yeah, I know. Oh my God, that's why I'm like, can you imagine? You have nothing else going on at all in your whole life. You don't want to talk about your kids or your wife.
Yeah.
Hello, like you're only talking about football. Oh my God, I'd kill myself. That is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how all men like that are. And that guy's 1,000. So like, he's been like that his whole life. It's horrifying.
I know, like, again, firsthand, like, that is a miserable existence to have. Like, I grew up in a town, like, small town in Arkansas. Right. I graduated with 80 people. Like, very small, yeah. And I didn't even realize, like, how bad it was. I thought that I was different because I didn't have this interest in hunting and sports and, like, this kind of puff-up chest. Everyone wants to fight. I'm like, what is it? Why? No.
Right, exactly.
Like, whenever, like, 8th grade, I dropped out of like football and took home ec in that thing instead. I think that was a core moment. I think that was the first domino to fall because I was like just vibing. I'm just making jelly and jams like with the girls, you know?
Hell yeah.
But like it's because I felt so different is like what kind of drew me not to drag, but like I always started to question like am I gay? Am I trans? Like what does this mean? Like I don't have like these masculine traits.
Right.
And it was actually by going the far end and kind of diving head in and eventually leading to drag where I realized like, oh, this is all like bullshit.
Yeah, like nothing matters. Like it's almost like it's fine and you're not gonna die. Like it's almost like it's okay because who cares? Like life is so difficult and so awful in so many ways and a lot of the time. Why would we waste time worrying about what other people like, how they dress, how they express themselves creatively? Who cares? Like I always think like when they're so and you know all the shit that's happening now politically is a perfect example of like who cares? Like why do you care so much about trans people? Why do you care so much about women who want to get an abortion? Why do you care so goddamn much? Why do you care? I have too much shit going on. I have too much shit going on up here to be worrying about what trans people are. You know what trans people want? To be left alone. That's what they want. They want to be able to exist and not have to worry about you wondering where the they go to the bathroom. Like, why do you care? Like, you're a weirdo. That's what I always think. You're a fucking freak. And on top of that, you have no personality, no interest, no nothing. So you're like, I'm going to make this my whole personality because I have no sense of self, which is just humiliating to me. And that's why, like, when I see things like that old man harassing my dad, I always think to myself, like, man, you're pathetic. Like, that's all you have going on for you is a Rolodex of things nobody gives a about.
Yeah. It's this weird like self-imposed prison because
exactly.
And people think too, they think that like heteronormativity is like the baseline, but like there's nothing more abnormal than like putting yourself in this weird confined box that other people told you should be in.
Absolutely, T.
It's like people like the word queer, like by definition means something that is like different, but the queer community and like queer people are literally people that have realized the boxes they're put in and just shed the barrier.
Exactly.
You know, just like living how they feel comfortable.
And that's why they get so mad. That's why bigots get so mad because they've been conditioned to believe that they will be miserable and have no friends, no love, no money, no success, no nothing, unless they follow these very strict binary rules. And then you see people like RuPaul is a perfect example of someone who did not follow any sort of binary rules and look happen. Like they get so angry because they're like, I am miserable and I hate everything and this person is succeeding and they're just being themselves. I'm gonna hate them. Like I'm gonna run for president and ruin everyone's life. Like that's how it feels. And it's just, to me, it's such an indicator of like how you have no confidence in your own personhood, no sense of self. That shit is sad. Yeah. And boring.
I feel it's obviously like I don't think that if you're running around calling people slurs and being hateful towards women that you're a good person. Right. But I also see those people like you're also a victim of it and you don't realize it. It's kind of a sad existence.
Yeah, it is. That's why I said it's sad, and to me it's pathetic because like you said it's self-imposed. And at this time and this day and age, like that is 100% on you. To think that you would be happier following this code of conduct that no one is holding you to is a fallacy. And it's also just depressing. Like I see and I'm like, that sucks, dude.
It's depressing and it's also like pointless. Right. It's like you're gonna go your entire life, you're living these very rigid rules, do things you don't want to do because other men are doing it and you think you need to do it. And then one day you're going to be a skeleton with a tombstone that no one's going to remember. No one's going to give a shit what you did. No one's going to care how manly you were.
Exactly.
Unless you are a little like World War II war hero, no one cares about your
and
what
even then,
you've
I'll
done.
talk shit on you.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. If you were a bad person, I'm going to talk shit on you.
And then some loudmouth woman on TikTok comes along.
Is going to come and discredit you.
Trying to tear the statues down.
I was thinking too, it's the same thing with fat people. Like when I defend fat people all the time. But like I've said before, the reason why men get so angry is because they're like, I've been told all my life that if I go to the gym and I work out, I'm gonna have no problem getting a and then they have these huge Hercules pecs and they're alone. And then they see women who are fat and in love and they're like, they get all mad about it. And it's like, well, you sound jealous, girl. Like you don't sound valid, you sound jealous. That's what you sound like. And I feel like that's a big reason why when I'm insulting them, they get even more mad because they can't like penetrate me with anything that they say. Nothing they say hurts me in any way, shape, or form because all of it is very superficial and it doesn't mean anything to me. But honestly, some of the meanest things I've ever said, like I was like, that's not mean. What I said wasn't mean. You really want me to be mean? Me comparing you to a cartoon character is the least of your worries. Because if I really dug in, I would tell you, like, you're going to be forgotten. No one will ever remember you because you are not stellar in any way. And that's why you hate me. Because I'm special. I'm special and I'm annoying. Oh.
Yeah.
What a bad combo for a woman.
Relatable content, though. No, I get it. No, it's you should feel special and annoying.
I do.
Yeah, that's your right as a human being.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what women fought for.
Yeah.
For my ability to be special and annoying.
That's what it feels like. That's what they were probably saying to the suffragettes. You know, they're like just these loud, uppity, annoying women.
Annoying ass.
Yeah.
Period.
Who doesn't love the good things in life? Even though I enjoy a little luxury, it doesn't mean I can always afford it. Until I discovered QUINCE. QUINCE is my go-to for luxury essentials at affordable prices. QUINCE offers a range of high-quality items at prices within reach, like 100% Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50, washable silk tops and dresses, organic cotton sweaters, and 14-karat gold jewelry. The best part? All QUINCE items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, QUINCE cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And QUINCE only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. I love that. Recently, I ordered one of their Flownet Breeze performance tees, a pair of their relaxed straight jeans, and an organic stretch corduroy overshirts. All the items that I ordered were really high quality and were actually really sturdy, which is something you don't really find with online retailers. And they were super affordable too. So give yourself the luxury you deserve with QUINCE. Go to quince.com/GITMS for free shipping on all your orders and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/GITMS to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/GITMS.
I don't know. It's so frustrating. Like it took me going to such like a far extreme to kind of get out of the box and to see like a light on the other side. And like I don't think every guy should go put on a dress and makeup and dance around to, you know, a Donna Summer song. I don't recommend that.
But if you want
most people shouldn't do that. No.
But if you want to.
But if you want to.
Do it in the privacy of your own home.
No, do it in public. It's literally just fabric and like dirt you put on your face. It literally doesn't matter. But like so many people, like in high school, so many guys that were talking about like who could beat up who could, how much they bench press, how many points on the deer they bagged or whatever. But you know who I never heard talk about that? The girls. They don't care. The girls don't care about that. And like there are some women that want like a very like conservative kind of guy, traditional manly values.
Sure.
But I think those women too are also kind of like
it's internalized misogyny in a lot of ways. Yeah.
They're an unknowing like victim of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what pick-me's are really. They're just victims of the system. But like again, it's like I can't help you if you don't want to help yourself. So like with pick-me's, I'm like peace and love. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I always think when you prioritize men over yourself, like, I mean, at the end of the day, even if you follow all of the rules that they so rigidly set for you, like, even if you follow every single one of them and you hate me, they're never going to respect you the same way they respect other men. You're still a just like me. Like, you're a bitch to them regardless. At least I'm not a bitch who lets them, like, treat me like shit all the time. You know what I mean? Which, like, there is no gold at the end of that rainbow. Like there really isn't. And I feel like like you just said, like, a life without women is boring. There ain't shit going on. You know what's funny is I posted a clip recently from my show, and I was talking about how if men, like, have made anyone laugh even a little bit, like, even a smidge, they're like, I should do comedy. I should. And then my guest, Sabrina Breyer, she was like, yeah, when men tell me I should do stand-up, why? Like, don't, right? And we were laughing about it, and I got a comment on my video that said, women make people in a room laugh, and they think to themselves, wow, it feels good to make people laugh. Men do that and think to themselves, I deserve to be famous for this. And I was like, that tea. You better clock that tea, because it's true. Yeah. Like, it's the amount of men I get telling me, like, this isn't even fucking funny. I could do this. What's stopping you?
Yeah.
Girl, you got a phone? Have at it, buddy. Join me.
The thing that sucks too, though, is like in this day and age of social media, because people like they look for like validation of themselves in like other people.
Right.
And so like if someone goes on like a podcast or something with middle school lunch table humor and just says like slurs and it takes off.
Right.
Then they're like, oh, so I am funny because I'm just like that.
Yeah, they're being validated by that. Yeah.
I say those words too, and it's it perpetuates something. I also am
offensive.
It's I don't know. I feel so conflicted about social media because it allows people like with voices like yours, like you're very like eloquent and very like well spoken about these issues, and like I feel like I'm a good example. I'm not the best speaker on everything. I don't have the best words make good, but I try. But there are people.
You do a wonderful job.
Thank you. But there are people that like they have these positive like viewpoints and they're able to put out there. But at the same time, everything's so algorithmic based.
Yeah.
And so
totally.
Those negative opinions are also just as boosted.
Yeah, it's a real double-edged sword.
We were making a little progress there for a little bit. Like early 2000s, men started to be metrosexual, and then they realized that like, oh no, that's fine. You can just like take a bath and you're cool.
Yeah. They're like, oh, when I like cut my fingernails and like wash my ass. Oh, wait, I think I'm kind of into this. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then, like, they got cool with, like, gay marriage a little bit. They got calmed down. And then, all of a sudden, like, algorithms, it really made it seem... Yeah, it made all opinions seem just as valid. And
right. It's like who has a bigger megaphone to be able to yell into it, which is why I feel like I've told people, because sometimes people ask me, like, oh, do you feel like there's just, like, no hope, right, at all? Because I've said before how, like, I feel like I have a very aggressive form of job security because men are never going to stop being awful and I'm just never going to stop talking about it. So it's like real win-win for me. Win-win-win for me.
Yeah. But until we go Handmaid's Tale and you don't get to be on TikTok
right.
anymore,
And then at that point, God, then I got to turn into Katniss Everdeen. Don't make me start shooting arrows. Don't make me do it. I have too much going on.
If we get into Handmaid's Tale, are you going to be wearing red or green? Where do you think you're going to fall?
I don't remember which one's the green.
The green are like the wives, and the red are like the handmaids.
Right.
Where do you think you fall in that?
Right. I think I'm going Suicide Pact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Easy way?
Clean out. Yeah. Yeah. No.
Boo. You don't really like see around, just kind of see what's up, what's going to happen?
No, I think I surrender myself to the home base, bomb strapped to my chest, let it go off.
That's fair.
That's my goal.
Yeah. You're going to take people out with you at least.
Oh, yeah. Everybody in there. Why not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could have several pieces of me if you'd like. I'll leave them right here at the door.
A piece of me?
Yeah. Alexa, play A Piece of Me by Britney Spears. Yeah, that's what I would do.
That's the song of the revolution.
That's on my JBL speaker as I'm going in. You know, I'll do like Trojan horse. I'll be inside. A gift. It's a bomb strapped to my chest.
Yeah. But if you had to be like, or try to be like somewhat clairvoyant about like the near future with the way everything's going right now, because like I really felt like despite a lot of like the negativity online that things were going for the better, but then obviously like the election and now like I'm seeing a lot more negative opinions online. It may also be algorithm. Like, where do you think things are going? I
mean,
asking you like you're like
I wish I knew.
I
genuinely do wish I knew. What I do think, I will say this. I saw a TikTok that made me feel a lot better. I sent it to everybody I knew. But it was this woman, she was talking about how, we've been here before. Some of you aren't old enough to have lived through something like this before. Which is a fair point, I think, to make, because she's, I think, like in her 40s. But she was saying, like, this is the most crucial thing to do in times like this is to turn towards community and turn towards each other and not turn on each other, not divide even further. Like, we need to stick together. That's the most important thing. But she was also saying how she had watched this documentary about, like, people who lived through World War II. And she said she remembers seeing someone talk in that documentary about how, as awful as things were at the time, he said that he had never had more wonderful memories in his life. And that was because, as ironic as it sounds, it's because it forces you to be present, because everything could be gone in a minute. Mm-hmm. So forcing yourself to be present because you want to live in the moment, given how uncertain everything is, can really, I think, create something beautiful and, like, still create joy. And, you know, like, a lot of LGBTQIA resistance, like, is centered in queer joy. It's like joy is still an act of resistance in the face of oppression. Mm. So I think turning towards community, supporting each other, continuing to stay informed, continuing to stay educated, and then also remembering that it is equally as important to experience joy, even in the midst of this, and to not give up. Like, that's, I think, what they want more than anything, is for you to give up. But as long as you're still here and still breathing and still care, I still think something good will come out of it. Like, we'll still make it through this. We'll still progress forward, because I'm going to keep steadying the course, and I hope everybody else does too. Mm-hmm. And I think that's all I can really predict at this point, is that I was obviously 2016, I voted in 2016. So, like, I remember 2016 and how awful that was too. And I'm sure for even further back, people have even worse memories than that. So I think I remember what I felt like in 2016, I remember what I felt like in 2020, and I remember what I feel like now. So I think just continuing to study the course and understand, like, I need to continue to contribute where I can, and be an ally where I can, and be a voice where I can, and an act of resistance where I can. That's all you really can focus on. Like, I wish I could predict the future, though. I wish I could. What I do know, though, is that we're going to keep doing what we do to take care of each other. Like, I truly think all marginalized people, we've always been our own heroes. We've never sat around and waited for them to come save us. We've done it for ourselves. Mm-hmm. So I think now is no exception to that. I think that's what we're going to have to do, and we will. I believe in us.
Trudge forward with optimism and community.
Right, that's all we can do, really.
I've said it, like, on several like podcasts and, like, other things before, that I think the March of Progress is 2 steps forwards, 1 step back. Right. And I think for the first time in a long time, we've now taken 2 steps back.
You're right.
But that doesn't mean, like, we're going backwards. Like, it's
every step forward, even if it's the smallest step in the world, is still a step forward.
And I do think, like, social media also makes it feel a lot more doom and gloom than it is.
Absolutely.
And, like, I don't want to tell anyone out there to, like, ignore everything, act like nothing's happening.
No,
like, be aware, know what's going on.
Right.
Be, aware of what's happening, but at the same time too, like, ground yourself and realize that you're okay right now.
Yeah.
There's people around you that love you, care about you, community, and
Absolutely.
that, there is people that are against
and
all
there's
the
still
negativity
people,
that's happening
there's
right
people
now.
like us who exist who are going to continue to fight, like, publicly, because obviously we're, like, public people, and we make our opinions known and well known, and, like, how we feel about things and what's important, and amplify what we care about, and we're going to continue to do that. And I hope everybody else continues to do that too. Like, and like you said, making sure to ground where you can, like, unplug where you can, when you can. That's very important. I started reading a lot. Love it. I'm loving it. I'm on my Kindle, like, you know what I mean? I need to be.
I started playing like, video games a lot more recently, because I was like, I need to back up a little bit.
What are you playing?
I started playing Kingdom Come.
Okay,
like,
cool.
It just came out. So basically, like, you're, like, a guy in medieval times just running around. And
I'm gonna look it up. I love video games.
Yeah, I'm really just running around with I'm focused on not getting food poisoning and dying to death. And I'm just like, you know what? Maybe the peasants had it right. This is pretty all right.
Real.
This unplug.
Oh, girl, I was playing. What was I playing recently? I was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but I was replaying it because I beat it already once, and I was like, I need a new game. And then I started playing that one. Girl, I was running around, pillaging, and building a town and all that shit. And I love video games. I'm super fun.
I think maybe
I'm gonna look up that one when I go home.
Yeah, it just came out, the second one. But, like, I think one of the first signs that, like, I was different was when I played video games. if it gave me the option, I didn't like choosing the big like buff guy character. Like I was like, I feel like I'm compensating for something. I don't know, it felt weird. It felt weird. I think that was like a first seed.
Right.
Like,
You're like, this feels like a self-read.
Yeah, I'll be playing Tomb Raider. I was like, hell yeah, I'm a baddie.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You know what's funny is when I play the games where I can choose if I'm like a man, a woman, or a them.
You choose a male and jump in the river, and then you reload and start.
It's so
play
funny
the game
you say that because I do choose men because if they die, it doesn't bother me. That's just me being honest. It kills me to watch women get stabbed and shit, and I was like, well, man, I'm like, well, you know, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They tell me all the time.
Yeah, you want to be a man?
They fucking yell it in my face all the goddamn time. They say, in here, you're gonna come when you need protection. Not you. The fuck? I saw how you acted when someone objectified a woman in front of you. I've been objectified in rooms with 100 men, and ask me if any of them said anything. They didn't. But yeah, when I play video games, if I have the option, I'll pick a man.
It's counterintuitive, but it tracks. It makes sense.
And that's why you know my reasoning, my thought process behind it.
If you were to load into her Sims world right now, every house is just full of girls and gays, and there's like a 4x4 wall with a dead guy in it in the back somewhere.
He's in the pool, and I deleted the ladder. Can't get out.
And as a country, like, delete the ladder 2025.
You know what? When I was balls deep in Sims, I would make the man go to work. Like, I would make him go work all the time, and then my girl, I would, like, develop all her skills. I'd be like, I'm gonna be a master painter. I'm gonna be a chef. I'm like, she's living a dream life, and I'm like, go to work. And we're gonna have fun while we're at the house.
Like, I had to play chess all day to get my knowledge and logic up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is, I would cheat for the money anyways, so, like, he didn't need to go to work. I just wanted him to get out of the house so that I could develop my skills.
I'm like pulling back a little bit. I'm like, well, maybe you shouldn't have as much power. Maybe the 50s guys were onto something.
Yeah, don't catch me in Sims. You know what I mean? I'm going crazy in Sims. I'm playing God in Sims.
Crimes against nature in the Sims, committing gentrification in Animal Crossing.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm making that island that Wonder Woman was on. You know what I mean? It's just all women warriors, and they're like, men. Yeah, we don't do those here. Ugh. Yeah, that's me. That's the type of that's what my Sims looks like. It's the island Wonder Woman was born on.
Like, why are all the women muscular?
Yeah, why is everyone jacked on this
some
island?
jacked woman painting all day?
Yeah, riding a fucking horse bareback.
This is the future liberals want.
Yeah, exactly. The woke left wants that to be the world.
Yeah, they want to eradicate men and have jacked up women painters.
Right, for real.
Oh, you're like, oh, man, honestly?
Hey, maybe they're onto something.
Maybe it's not. That sounds too bad to me.
That's why I said island full of women, big invisible shield around that nobody can see. Yeah, that's the type of shit I'm on right there.
I love how we went from a moment of like doom and gloom, like I don't know where the country's going. You're like, but here's where it should go.
And here's my thought.
Yeah.
Anyone, let me know about my plan. Let me know what you think about my plan.
If Harris was elected, we'd probably have it.
Right.
You know? But they don't see a woman in office.
That's why you can't let women in positions of power.
If you give a mouse a motherfucking cookie.
Right, exactly. An inch, they'll take a mile.
Anywho. Okay, well, on that note, I think it's about all the time we had today and the last of my cards. I think we had very thoughtful discussions and some less thoughtful. But thank you for coming in today. I did want to give you a gift.
Oh, cute.
You know, again, as a man-hating liberal feminist, and it's me, an alpha straight white male, there's not a lot of overlap between us, but something we do have in common is we both love hot Cheetos.
Right.
And I wanted to get you something.
Oh my gosh. And it's hidden behind the fur.
It is a Cheeto duster, so you can put hot Cheeto dust on all your foods.
Shut the up.
Yeah, it's like you pepper it, you grind it, and then you pour it.
I have never seen anything like this.
This is not sponsored, by the way.
Oh my god, thank you.
Yeah, I thought of you.
That is so funny. I do love Cheetos. I do love hot Cheetos. That is so tea. Oh my god, thank you.
So outside of putting...
Men are good for something. Gifts.
Our money. Gifts.
I thought it was gonna be like another up picture of me, so I'm honestly genuinely shocked.
No, it's actually inside the box. It's rolled up. So, like, outside of putting hot Cheeto dust on your food, where can people find you? You put a book out recently?
I sure did, girl.
You put a book out? So, like, what is the book? If people want to, or might be interested in, like, oh, what do you have to say? What's in the book? What are people looking forward to?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's part, I would say, like, self-help, and it's part memoir. It's based on... Obviously, there's a lot about me in it. Like, a lot of my lore is in there. But mostly, I think what I wanted for the book was for it to be, like, a piece of my brain and my heart for people to, like, take home. It's my TikTok presence expanded tenfold, and it's just basically why I think it's imperative that your self-love should always outweigh validation from others, and how I feel like everyone in this world is deserving of the love and respect they put out into it, and you are more than entitled to receive it. And if you are patient and you take care of yourself and love yourself beyond belief, it will happen for you in whatever capacity that looks like. And I think just learning to live and love yourself outside the confines of a man is the greatest gift you could ever give yourself. And that's essentially what's in my book, is how to do that, or how I did that personally. But yeah, you can find Loud. It's Loud, except nothing less than the life you deserve. You can get it anywhere you find books, to be quite honest with you.
You have multiple podcasts right now?
I sure do. I have The Comment Section, which is a Spotify video exclusive podcast. And then I also have my podcast, Two Idiot Girls, with my sister Dason, which is also very fun and very, very tea. So, yeah.
Have you guys, I didn't find out until we did the podcast together that Spotify had video podcasts. That was like my introductory. I was like, wait, what? I was like,
you and me both, girl.
I was sitting there waiting, and I was like, when's this going on YouTube? And,
right?
And then it was like live now on Spotify.
Oh yeah, like, my video lives on. I know, girl. If I had a nickel for every comment I get, that was like, why can't I find this on YouTube? Because it's not on there.
Yeah, I think it's a sign of like some of us getting older, where it's like we only know YouTube.
Me
like,
too.
What do you mean Spotify?
Same. I know, they're like, video on Spotify. Yeah. Same.
So if you want more of like this buffoonery, Spotify, we did a podcast together.
Yes, we sure did, girl, and we were in costume.
We were.
You were costumed down.
I were.
Bitch.
I'm the real me today, but I was back. I was costume.
That was you and
I was playing a little dress up. It was Halloween. You know?
That's true. It was one of the most impressive costumes I've ever seen.
Yeah, so far. So and obviously like TikTok. What do you get follower wise on TikTok? Do you know the numbers? Are you over 9 or is it over 8?
No, I think it's like 8.2.
Just a measly 8.2 million.
Yeah. Something slight.
It's like
yeah, on TikTok. But yeah, you can find me on all socials at Drew Afualo. That's me.
Do you have ideas of like pivoting any of your content anyway, or is it still just going to be hating on men in the comments?
I feel like
perpetuity.
Right. I mean, that will always be in me, obviously. So it will always be a part of my platform to some extent. But I think like in the last like couple years, especially, I've really started to like kind of not necessarily move away from that, but expand on it. So that's what the book was too. It was like an opportunity for me to kind of expand past just like superficial jokes about men. Because obviously I've proven time and time again I can make fun of a man with my fucking eyes closed and hands tied behind my back. I can make fun of a man.
So now you're making fun of the disabled. You're like, I need something a little trickier.
No, never.
No? Okay. Yeah,
no.
Spice
Why would
things up.
No, yeah, just get real crazy.
Yeah, sometimes like everyone loves you. You get bored. You know, it's like self-sabotage. You're like, I want to do like TikTok on hard mode.
Right. I live long enough to see myself become a villain.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I think the extension of it is coming in many different ways. I think, but
the villain. This is you on TikTok making fun of people in wheelchairs.
Right. That's me going into the compound in The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
I'm in that fucking bitch.
With a Piece of Me.
Right. Yeah.
Playing on a JBL speaker.
Piece of Me by Britney Spears. Thank you very much. Yeah, hopefully the goal, I think, is to continue the underlying message, which is just that no one's ever going to love you like you should love you. You know?
Oh, I'm about to cut it out there. No one's ever gonna love you.
No one's ever gonna love you. Well, no one's ever gonna love you, but in this form.
Well,
but everyone else.
I'll be an alpha male. Women are looking for an alpha male. Andrew Tate told me so.
Right, in jail.
What do you know?
Did he tell you that from prison?
Heard
carrier pigeons. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's where you can find her. You can find me right here. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any future guests. And join us next time whenever we have somebody else.
Bye.
Yeah. So then, bye guys.
Let's go.
I'm drowning in puss. You know that. You can tell.